Much like they did in Game 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers doled out another pretty ugly loss to the Orlando Magic in Game 2. In a series that was initially thought of as one of the more competitive of the first round, the Cavaliers have begun to separate themselves, taking a 2-0 lead as the series heads back to Orlando, with the Magic hosting Games 3 and 4. This Cleveland Cavaliers team could not have asked for a better opening to the 2024 playoffs, as they have now executed their game plan successfully in back-to-back games and now have all of the momentum. As we mentioned in the previous breakdown, basketball is often a numbers game, and with that said, there were a few different numbers that stuck out to me from Game 2. Let's break them down. Number 1, 35. Not to sound like a broken record, but this series essentially boiled down to the Cleveland Cavaliers' ability to defend the painted area. By now, if you've been listening to me recently, you know the tale of the tape. During the course of the 82 regular game season, the Orlando Magic dominated within the painted area, where they ranked 8th in the association, scoring an average of 51.8 points within the paint, with many players contributing. I've mentioned the fact that 5 of the rotation players ranked within the top 100 in this category, with Paolo and Franz leading the pack. In Game 1, the Cavs made it a priority to consistently pack the paint and dared Orlando to shoot from 3-point distance, something they didn't do frequently or well enough this past season, ranking 29th in total attempts at 31.3 per game and dead last at makes, knocking down a pitiful 11 per game. Combine this with the fact that they only make 35.2% of their triples. This weakness is impossible to ignore, and as such, head coach JB Bickerstaff had his players consistently cutting off driving lanes and with near perfectly timed blitzes, and by collapsing the paint with 3 or more defenders upon any of Orlando's drives. This forced them to once again rely upon their underwhelming perimeter shooting by taking 35 total triples, exceeding their season average once again. Their inability to knock down the 3-point shot with any real consistency or efficiency was always going to be highlighted in this series, and overcompensating by taking threes was never going to be a recipe for success, as they just don't have the requisite perimeter shooting to make teams pay for deploying a paint-focused defensive strategy. It becomes even more glaring of a weakness if they are playing from behind, which was the case for Game 2. Number 2, 0. Much like the Orlando Magic, the Cleveland Cavaliers struggled to knock down shots from the perimeter in Game 2. Don't get me wrong, part of this was due to the Magic putting a ton of pressure on the 3-point line as they tried to run shooters off of that line, but another part of it was the Cavs just simply being off. There were a decent number of makeable shots in Game 2 that the Cleveland-based squad typically knocks down. They would wind up completing just 12 of 38 from the 3-point line. That's just 30.8%. A few individual players managed to convert on a good number of their looks, with Darius Garland knocking down 4 of his 7 attempts. Karis LeVert was 2 of 4, and Isaac Okoro was 2 of 5. But there were also some real struggles going on, guys. Perhaps none more so than Georges Niang, who is now just 1 of 11 from the field, including 0 of 8 from 3-point range through 2 games now. 0 triples. Through these first 2 games, Niang is averaging 2.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, 1 assist, and is shooting just 9.1% from the field. Don't adjust your audio, you heard that right. The man is completing just 9.1% of his shots. Despite these woeful numbers, Niang has still managed to be a plus 15 out there on the floor. Some of that is due to the defense that he has managed to play at times, but at the end of the day, I do have to wonder whether or not head coach JB Bickerstaff might be thinking about giving someone else a chance here. Could we see Marcus Morris in Game 3 if Niang continues to struggle? Honestly, it's hard to say. The Cavs are basically coming off of back-to-back wire-to-wire victories using this rotation. It's definitely something to monitor moving forward though. Number 3, 20. During and after the 2023 playoffs, the Cleveland Cavaliers were obliterated by the NBA world for their inability to get physical and rebound against the likes of the New York Knicks. Perhaps none more so than Jarrett Allen. Lord knows, Jarrett Allen was lambasted for his performance in that series, and honestly, a lot of it was deserved. He himself admitted that the lights were too bright at the time. He was clearly playing timidly, but it's safe to say that he is rewriting the narratives. After finishing the regular season averaging his 3rd career double-double with 16.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists while completing 63.4% of his shots, Allen has carried that borderline all-star play into the postseason. He is scoring the ball as efficiently as ever and making a few plays for others, but the biggest standout on the stat sheet for him in Game 2 is the number of rebounds he was able to pull down. Jarrett Allen managed to grab 20 total rebounds, doing the job on both ends. I was truly impressed with the amount of offensive rebounds he was able to haul in. He would finish with 9. The physicality this man is showcasing after enduring all of those soft allegations is nothing short of breathtaking. No one deserves to have this type of run more than Jarrett Allen. His positioning was perfect. This is the Allen that all Cavs fans have been waiting to see in the playoffs. I said before this series started that I believed that he could dominate this series, and guess what? He has. Through the first 2 games of this series, Allen is putting up averages of 16 points, 19 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block, while knocking down an ultra-efficient 12 of 20 from the field. With this performance, Jarrett Allen becomes just the 3rd Cavalier ever to pull down 20 or more rebounds in a playoff game, along with Brad Daugherty and Kevin Love. Number 4. 10. Both teams were inefficient yet again shooting the 3-point shot, but they also struggled from the charity stripe. Cleveland in particular missed 10 free throws in game 2, as the Cavs would go just 16 of 26 from the line, which is good for a pretty bad 61.5% overall. Max Strus was fine, going 2 of 2. Darius, Garland, and Donovan Mitchell had a few missed opportunities, but most of the misses came from the frontcourt pairing of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, who combined to miss 7 freebies. Now, I'll tell you what, this can be somewhat forgiven due to the high amount of attempts that were drawn, as Mobley and Allen drew a ton of contact and attempted 17 total free throws, but against a better opponent, this could easily have been the difference between winning and losing a game. As a team, the Cavaliers have now gone 33 of 47 from the line. That is 70.2%, which is 6.3% below their season average of 76.5. They have never truly been a great free throw shooting team, but at the very least, they must do better in this regard moving forward. Here's to hoping that happens.